Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, I'm a little more excited or happy because I have finally come and found some collective minds that think the way I do, and also this is pretty funny.
Winning mentality as a player and similar experience of good and bad times at the very top level.
Well, to be fair, Liam, I think if their confidence would be shot if they were to read some of the pieces that you write at the minute, because I read some of them and some of the confirmation bias that you always reflect on games with, and it's like a sort of almost like a social media pundit to try and get a reaction in a negative way. I read the pieces when we were doing well as well, and they didn't go both ways. So I think for a journalist to be objective would be a big start, because if players do read it, I'd feel like that. In terms of Pete, I think his experience is vital for the club, that we use our experiences, because even in years that we...
So yeah, that's Frank Lampard going off at media for some reason. All the bad stuff you guys have been writing about me. Listen, dude, like... He always, the funny thing about Frank Lampard is he always has this thing that he's like, oh, when I got into this position, I knew the pressure, I understood the pressures of this job. Yeah, getting the English media to talk shit about you when you're not doing well is part of the pressure. Everyone knows that. As a football player, you should know that. And what's even more funny with this whole thing is that a few years ago, when Frank Lampard was a player and he was part of the hierarchy with Drogba and John Terry, a lot of the times when the coaches got fired, it would always start with, the coach has lost the dressing room. The top players in the dressing room don't think that the coach's way of playing or style of playing is working, and blah blah blah, and all of they're upset. So when we take a wild guess on who were the top players that were probably leading the charge, it was probably Drogba, John Terry, Frank Lampard, right? So you know these pressures because you were part of that. You were part of that shit, and now all of a sudden your defense is you want to complain about what the reporters are writing about you, dude. Forget the reporters. This is not like 19 whatever when all we heard was football on the radio. So we're seeing what's happening. We're watching. I turn on BN Sports every time Chelsea has a football match, and I watch. And I'm watching you play absolute garbage. Play this football like absolute trash. And now you want to blame what the press is writing. Yeah, that's what the press do. They write shit about everyone all the time. There's not one like celebrity or whatever that hasn't gone through this, or one manager that hasn't gone through this. This is part of the job. So instead of complaining about what the press is talking about, how about you just do your job better? Like, how about we stop pointing fingers and do your job better? Or just admit that you're in way over your head, because that's what it looks like, Frank. Anyway, it's crazy because I could go on about this whole Frank Lampard situation and how he feels about the media. At the end of the day, it looks like Frank Lampard is not going to make it in this football club, and it's very sad. And to be honest, and I think a lot of people need to understand this, you need to be able to make a difference between Frank Lampard, the legend, the player, and Frank Lampard, the manager. At the end of the day, we know that Frank Lampard was one of the best to ever do it. At one point, he was the top 3 players in the world, standing there next to Ronaldinho and Kaká, I think it was. Like, Frank Lampard, the player, that legacy is in stone. It will never change. I don't think any Chelsea football fan can honestly say that because of his performance as a manager, that changes what we feel about him as a player. That is crazy. That would be crazy to me. Frank Lampard dragged our team to the final of the Champions League and won it. That's the Frank Lampard I choose to remember. This Frank Lampard is totally is someone very different to me. If this was any other manager, Frank, if this was any other manager, we would have asked for his head when he lost against Arsenal. That's the honest truth. But now everyone's on some, it's Frank Lampard, let's give him time if anyone's going to succeed. Da, 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 da. It's like, yeah, it's cool. The reason why Chelsea managers get fired, it's not because they're losing 1 or 2 games here and there, blah, blah, blah. No, because there's a significant drop in performance. That's the problem. If Frank Lampard was sitting 5th right now, we would not be having this conversation. If Lampard was sitting even 6th, and with like a 2-point gap or something like this, we would not be having this conversation. There's 19 games to go. There would be no need to have this conversation. But Frank Lampard is so off the pace that Man United are looking down at us, and it's crazy. It's ridiculous. Or what's happening. Like, it's that bad. And that's why the board at Chelsea are starting to fidget. Because the performance has dropped so significantly that it's bad. It's a problem. It's a problem. Even during the 17-game winning run, they were already talking about, maybe we need to get this player. Declan Rice needs to come in. Even when we were winning, even when things were going great, there was already conversations of this person needs to come in. We need to change this. We need to do this. So now all of a sudden, people want to forget, because it's Frank Lampard. No. I'm so sorry to say this, but no player is bigger than the club. Chelsea made that very clear when they refused to give him the contract that he wanted before he went to Man City. Let's get the facts out here and talk the real shit. The real fact is that Chelsea Football Club does not care about the player as much as people think they do. Or the manager, especially not the manager, because he can be replaced. I mean, last time around, or not last time, but we once had an interim manager and we managed to win a trophy. That was very important. I mean, I'm just saying. You know what I mean? So it might not be such a bad thing. But anyway, it's Luton next. And hopefully we have a good match. I mean, it's one of those games where I'm not going to be surprised if we lose. I'm going to be like, okay, waiting for Lampard's sack to be announced. Or if we win, it's like, you're supposed to win. And then we go on to Wolves, and then we'll see where this team really is at. Because against Leicester, that was a joke of a match. Anyway, so with the team, I think we'll probably see Kepa in goal again, or Caballero, but I think more Kepa. Reece James on the right, just to get, match fitness. I think Rudiger and Christensen probably will get in there, and Palmeiro can show us how a real left back plays. I think Billy Gilmore also will be there holding. He's definitely going to give Kai Havertz a runabout. And knowing Frank Lampard, Mason Mount is going to play again. Moving with the 3 up front, he's probably going to give Giroud a start, maybe, or you go really strong with Werner in front just to give him confidence again, Pulisic and Ziyech. I definitely think Ziyech is going to play, so we'll see how it goes. Luton versus Chelsea, hopefully it's a good match, and we'll see how it goes. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, comment, share, tell a friend to tell a friend, and let's tell friends. I'm gonna start doing shirt giveaways soon, so watch out for that. And yeah, let's just hope that finally we have a chill Chelsea match where our hearts are not in our throats and we're not screaming at the TV, and it's just one of those games where everything is chilled. Peace.